Hello, I'm Lori Steiner, sitting in for Armin Budish. Welcome to Golden Opportunities.
Today, for many, the road to recovery runs through rehabilitation. We'll give you directions for a successful journey. Then we'll meet a woman who hated her teeth, but now she loves her smile. Looking for love in all the wrong places? We'll help you discover how to date in the 21st century. Plus, we'll take a healthy look at re-enrolling for health insurance and how a services contract can protect some of your funds from nursing home costs.
It's time to get geoing, so pull up a chair and join us at our kitchen table for Golden Opportunities. Life can change in an instant. An accident, a stroke, or an unexpected injury can alter your ability to be independent in a single moment. However, there is hope for real recovery through rehabilitation, as Dr. Gary Clark will tell us. Dr. Clark is the chair of physical medicine and rehabilitation at Metro Health. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now, Metro Health, I understand, has a brand new rehabilitation unit. We're going to talk about it, but first let's talk about, all of the steps and issues involved in rehabilitation. Can you give us some examples of how that, difficult and complex it can be?
Well, sure. Let's start. A common example would be somebody who has a stroke. So typically with a stroke, there is weakness or paralysis on one side of the body, so they have difficulty dressing themselves, walking. So in the rehabilitation program, they would be involved in occupational therapy, working with their weak side, maybe using their intact side for single-handed activities, which can be a challenge. And if it's their dominant side that's involved, then we would do what we call change of dominance. So they learn to write with their intact hand to feed themselves. So that'd be occupational therapy. Physical therapy might work with strengthening the leg, working on being able to move around in bed, get out of bed, and start walking again. If they have language difficulties or cognitive difficulties, speech therapy, speech language therapy would work with them on recovering their ability to communicate. So there are multiple team members, each with their own areas of expertise, working together to help the patient recover function. That's a lot of therapies, a lot of different pieces working together. How does everybody keep it all straight? Well, it's definitely a team process. We have regular meetings to review patients' progress and plan their treatment program and talk about how to integrate the various parts of the program so everybody's working in sync. So we get what's referred to as a synergy effect, where the result is more than the sum of the individual parts.
Okay,
yes.
So I understand you said a rehab nurse is kind of in charge of that too, but you have other people available even beyond the doctors, the therapists, the nurses.
Sure. The rehabilitation physician, the physiatrist, such as me, would coordinate and direct the whole program. The rehabilitation nursing is a critical component because they practice a lot of what happens in the 3 to 4 hours of therapy a day, the rest of the day, working with the patients and their families. But we also have art therapy, recreation therapy, music therapy. Those are activities that the patients actually enjoy more than therapy, because therapy
I would imagine.
therapy can be somewhat boring and sometimes uncomfortable. But this gives them a chance to do other activities that they enjoy but are still therapeutic, because they're still working on motor coordination, eye-hand coordination, cognitive activities. So there are probably 10 or 12 team members if you look at the whole range of the team, obviously including the patient and family members themselves.
Yeah. Metro Health is the area's only level 1 trauma hospital, so you're familiar, with doing all of this kind of rehab. But you have a new space now for rehabilitative services. This is the Rehabilitation Institute of Ohio, and it's all in the old Brooklyn Health Center. What does combining everything in one place mean for the family and the patient and the staff?
Well, we have a new setting that's basically a freestanding rehabilitation hospital, Rehabilitation Institute. And the advantage is that we have much more space. So in the Metro Health main campus, most of the rooms were semi-private, 2 patients to a room, somewhat cramped. Now we have rooms that are much larger and, for the most part, private rooms.
Ooh,
so
very nice for the patients.
Patients enjoy it. We also have dedicated space for patients and families to get together for social activities, meals, recreational activities, larger therapy areas. And it's a very modern, bright facility. So it's very enjoyable, and environment has a lot to do with motivation and progress.
Absolutely. Keeping going.
Yes, yes.
That's great information, and I look forward to having a lot of years in that new space for you guys. So Needing rehabilitation to return to our daily lives is not something we expect, but it can happen. If it does, the good news is we have a team at Metro that is determined to ride the road to a successful recovery right along with us. My thanks to Dr. Clark for teaming up with us today.
Learn more about Metro Health's new inpatient rehabilitation units at www.metrohealth.org/rehab or call 216-957-3500. Next, the story behind a stunning smile. But first, chew on this. Deciding which treat to pick for those trick-or-treaters on Halloween can be tricky, but each year one choice will lead the pack. So which bonbon can boast about being the best of 2011? Three Musketeers, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, Snickers, or M&M's? We'll unwrap the answer when we return.
Welcome to Breckenridge Village, a continuing care retirement community conveniently located in historic Willoughby, Ohio. Whether it's a luxury apartment, a spacious ranch home, or newly built brownstones, it's all here with the added security of knowing more care is available when you need it. Breckenridge Village offers an exciting and upbeat lifestyle, and the food is fabulous, and our staff makes you their #1 priority. Learn more about Breckenridge Village and come see our new Veal Wellness and Aquatic Center.
The top treat for Halloween 2011 went to that magical mix-up of chocolate and peanut butter found in Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
Susan Zingali had been afraid of the dentist ever since she had a negative experience as a young girl. So how did this now 60-something grown-up woman end up in dentist Steve Marsh's office ready to open wide to change her smile? Let's hear it straight from the patient's mouth. Steve and Susan are both here today to share her turnaround tale. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Good to see you again, and welcome to Susan. And I can't help but notice you brought a friend.
Yes, I did. This is Julius.
All right. What did Julius do with you?
Julius came to the office with me on every visit, sat in my chair with me, and brought my stress level down.
Wow, well, a terrifying experience as a child would cause that to happen, huh?
Unfortunately, it did.
What made you want to change your smile?
I did not like the way I looked. I go to the gym, I work out, I have my hair done, but my teeth were terrible, just terrible.
So it time to change, huh?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, and Steve, this is a before picture, is that correct?
Yeah, and that's how Susie came to me. And she had some work done a number of years ago, right, Susie?
Yes.
And they had done 4 crowns on the bottom that didn't really match very well. And over the years, and this happens with all of us, as we mature, the teeth will change in shape and move around a little bit.
Okay, now I understand you're in Florida for a good part of the year as well. So how did that work to coordinate appointments when you're not here most of the time?
Dr. Marshall's office was fabulous. They worked around my schedule. I was able to come in when I needed to, and they worked around my schedule. I take care of my dad.
Okay.
So they took care that I got in when I needed to get in.
Oh, that's very nice. That's always helpful when you're trying to squeeze things around real life. So we saw the before picture. So she came in presenting certain problems to you. Then what did you do?
Well, we sat down together. And I think it's interesting that she mentioned her father, because as many of the people who are viewers are caregivers or maybe people who need help. And so we did try to work around that schedule. So we sat down and found out what was important to her, and then we actually did a prototype, and I'll just hold it up for a minute. And you can see on the viewer's left, you can see what she came in with, and we did this wax prototype because we wanted to show her, give her an idea of what we could accomplish. This is done in wax before we move forward.
Okay.
And we discussed what was important to her, and I thought what we could accomplish, and we have some pictures of her. Here's a full-face picture, and again, Susie, thank you for allowing us to show that before. And she also had a fairly gummy, we call a gummy smile, so we actually used a laser to work on the gums. Again, that's her before picture. You can see those crowns that didn't match. They were porcelain on metal. And today we use all porcelain, so you don't have that opaque look. Also you can see the position of the teeth. We talked about colors. Susie said, listen, I'm going to do it. I want to do them bright and white.
Might as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And if you look, she also has beautiful lip formation. The lips are a frame, and that helped us. And you can see how much more even they looked, Lori, at the gum level. Again, this is all porcelain, not only in the front but in the back. So in the front we did porcelain veneers. In the back, where she had had a lot of dental work, we did porcelain crowns, no metal at all, and it gave her that beautiful smile, and there she is looking as pretty as ever with that smile, and she was still able to take care of her father as well. So it worked out in a very nice way, I think. Would you say so, Susie?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, and you and Julius are now happy with the
Very
results?
happy, very happy. I actually look in the mirror and like what I see.
That's great.
There's Julius with a bib on.
It's
He
a
enjoyed
great
his time
office.
too, yeah.
Wonderful office.
All right. So don't let fear keep you from having the smile that you want. Thanks to Dr. Marsh and Julius, Susan is not afraid of the dentist anymore, and she's not afraid to show her smile. To find out more, give Steve a call. His number is coming up next.
See what Dr. Stephen Marsh can do for your smile by calling 440-461-1003 or visit www.clevelandsmiles.com. Next, how to find a love connection. Looking for places to go, things to do? Welcome to our community calendar. Find out how adding life insurance to your portfolio can help achieve your financial goals. Attend a free seminar presented by the Lineweaver Financial Group. The event will be held Tuesday, November 13th at 1 p.m. and again Thursday, November 15th at 6:30 p.m. at the Lineweaver offices in Valley View. Reserve your seat by calling 1-888-313-4009.
It certainly wasn't in your game plan, but now here you are, a not-so-swinging single, and you find yourself considering something you'd never have to do again, dating. So how do you make a love connection in the 21st century when you're past your own half-century mark? Elena Averbach is a dating coach and the founder of Kickstart Love, and she's here to highlight how to look for love in all the right places, even when your hair has more than 50 shades of gray. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Laurie.
There's a lot of folks 50 and over who are now kind of jumping back into the dating pool, and you've got some tips, I guess, to help them swim and not sink, starting with volunteering.
That's absolutely right. No matter what your age, if you want to date, one of the most challenging aspects of it is just finding places to meet people. And volunteering is a great way to do that. The funny thing is that men and women tend to volunteer in different places.
Okay.
So men think of building houses or cleaning rivers, and women tend to read to children or host a bake sale. And so they don't meet each other. So the goal is to find volunteer opportunities where you're really appealing to both men and women.
Sure.
So think along the lines of political campaigns, pet shelters, or even cultural events like ushering at the Cleveland International Film Festival.
Okay. It's a great way to meet people. You're out there doing something that's helpful also, but you also talk about reconnecting with friends and maybe even former flames.
Absolutely. It's never a bad idea to reconnect with people who you used to know, whether that's through friends, through class reunions, or even finding someone on Facebook. Many of those people may now be divorced, and there's something very meaningful about reconnecting with someone who used to know you, who shares a common history.
Okay, so far volunteering, common interest, common history. It sounds like having something in common is really important to finding the right person.
It can certainly make the connection easier. There are actually a lot of groups in the Cleveland area that connect people who have common interests. So there are groups for people who love eating out at restaurants. There's groups for photography, and a lot of these groups actually skew older. So if you decide to go to one, you'll be surrounded by people in your own age range. I know of a great one. It's a sailing club, and people actually take a boat out on the lake and they enjoy an afternoon together.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, my clients
Boating
enjoy it.
in the sun, everything. So, but nowadays there's a lot of newer, like techie kind of, new age kind of approaches, 21st century. It seems like looking for love online appeals to a lot of different age groups.
Yeah, online dating is a fantastic way to broaden your social network and make that love connection. Many of my clients have found love online.
Oh, that's good.
It is. It's wonderful. But there are a few things to keep in mind. And the first one is to find a dating site that really meets your needs. So in the Cleveland area, for singles who are 50 and older, the two best sites are Match.com and eHarmony.com.
Okay.
And that's because they're the largest sites, and so they have the most users.
Okay, so strength in numbers, it's a numbers game?
It really is. A lot of people get frustrated when they first try online dating, and that's because they expect to send out one email and receive one email back. And that's just not how it's done. People sometimes get overwhelmed by letters, or they might not get enough. And the average response rate is really 5% to 30%.
Oh, so, lower your expectations a little bit when you're using them?
A little bit. You have to keep high standards, but if you're having trouble reaching those numbers, you may want to broaden your search criteria by age range or location.
Okay, so any tips? What if you find somebody you think you'd like to meet in person? What then?
Absolutely. A great piece of advice is to get offline as quickly as possible. So after just 3 or 4 quick email exchanges, set up a date and actually meet in person. And a first date does not have to be high stakes, 5-star event. A lot of men in particular get kind of intimidated by having to plan these events. And sometimes it'll be so intimidating they won't ask the women out. So think of something low key, something low pressure where you can just be yourselves, a cup of coffee or bowling. If you have a great time, you'll have years to enjoy each other, and if not, it's time to move on to the next date.
Move on to the next one. All right, these are great tips. If you need more ideas on how to get back to dating, give Elena a call. Her number's coming up next. And my thanks to Elena for making a date to be with us here today.
It was great.
For more information, call Kickstart Love at 707-939-KICK. That's 707-939-5425. Or log on to www.kickstartlove.com. Next, signing up for better health care. It's time to get up and go. An exercise minute on golden opportunities.
Hello everybody, my name is Mike Carbon from Breakout Fitness, and today we are going to do a pullover utilizing our dumbbell and an exercise ball. This is a complete total body, upper body workout. You ready to go?
Oh yeah.
Excellent. I'm going to roll out on my exercise ball. If you don't have one at home, you can also do this exercise on the ground. We're going to start with the dumbbell cradled in our hands above our chest. Remember, when you're on the ball, if you keep your backside up, that causes your core to engage a little more. Now we're simply going to bend at our shoulders, dropping the dumbbell down above our head, and then pull it right back to the starting position. Remember, slow and controlled movements, and remember to breathe. All the way up and all the way down. Excellent. How you feeling?
I'm still breathing.
Great. All right, everybody, we have it, and so do you. So now it's your turn to get up and go.
For your copy of the exercise booklet, please send $1 for postage to Golden Opportunities, 23240 Chagrin Boulevard, Suite 450, Beechwood, Ohio, 44122.
It's not often you get a chance for a do-over or even a redesign, but that's just the opportunity you have each year at this time when your health care benefits come up for renewal. Lily Radick is here to roll out the options for open enrollment. Lily is the director of the Educational Business Unit for Medical Mutual of Ohio. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
Let's start really easy. What's open enrollment?
Okay, open enrollment is a real opportunity to understand what your benefits are. Take a look at what your options, and then also make some changes that you may not have been able to do throughout the year.
Okay, so there's a limited time. It only comes once a year, is
It
that
only
right?
comes once a year. It's a limited time frame, so take advantage of this. The best advice we can give you is to really understand your benefits and understand what is the total cost to your family.
Okay. Medicare reform, that we've heard so much about in the last few years, has affected a lot of different healthcare areas. Does that include open enrollment?
It can. Federal health care reform does provide certain services to be added to your benefits at certain times while delaying others. So this is the time that you're able to look at what is the status of my plan. Ask your employer, review your information so you know exactly what is changing for the future.
So you go to your HR department and they
You
should
go
have
to your
that good
HR
information.
department and typically they will already be proactive and they'll already be giving you that information ahead of time.
Okay, so you need to find out about your plan. What is it that people don't know about their plans already?
They typically, you'll be surprised how little they do know about their plan until they need their plan. So this is really a good time to take a look at your certificate of benefits. And what that is a very detailed description of what is covered. What are your deductibles, what's covered, what's not covered, and then also then take a look at that open enrollment material. That will tell you what is changing in the future.
Okay, so you got to make sure what's happening next year is what you still want to have happen
Exactly.
in your plan. So
Exactly.
when you're looking at these plans, how do you tell whether one plan is better than another?
look at everything from your own family perspective. So what does your family needs? Sometimes a high deductible option may be the best plan for you. It'll lower your monthly premium. So everything should be looked at, including your medical, your prescription, whether it's dental or vision, everything from your own family perspective.
Okay. And I know that's been a big push with the whole Obamacare has been prevention. Let's get something taken care of before anything bad happens. So should we look for those kind of services in the planning as well?
Absolutely. Your plan may also already have some preventative services included, but with federal health care reform, there's a lot more being added as far as routine or preventative services. Some of those are at very little cost or no cost to you, so you should take advantage of those screenings.
Of course.
The other thing that happens is that employers often have wellness programs. So they may offer you gift certificates and prizes, even lower your premium that you pay every month in order for you to participate. So you should take advantage of those perks and get healthy at the same time.
Yeah, it's always a good idea.
Always.
Prizes are good.
Yeah.
Now, open enrollment you had mentioned was only once a year. How do we know when that time comes? Is it towards the end of the year now that we're getting into? How do we know what's the exact time frame?
Actually, it can vary from employer to employer, so you should check with your HR department as to when that is.
Okay.
This is really the most common time, however, the end of the year and looking forward to January 1st.
Okay.
So this is the time you should be looking again at understanding those benefits. Maybe you need to add a dependent, so you should be looking, this is the time to do that.
Okay.
But look at that open enrollment material and that'll give you that information.
All right. Good advice. Very good advice. The clock is ticking to review your health care options during open enrollment. So don't wait. And for more help and for more information, contact Medical Mutual of Ohio. My thanks to Lily Radick for signing up to see us today.
To learn more, visit Medical Mutual of Ohio at www.medmutual.com. Next, how to protect your life savings using a services contract.
They haven't been inducted to a Hall of Fame. They don't get stopped for autographs or photos. They don't have entourages or shoe deals. But they still deserve our applause and admiration because they are fighters, believers, heroes. We are the Metro Health System. We are the proud sponsor of the comeback.
Did you miss a phone number or a website? Then here's your second chance because we're going to list all of that information again. Then we'll be back to tell you why paying your adult children for their help could pay off for you in the long run. With nursing home costs so high, it's essential to take advantage of all the legal planning tools available. Today, we're going to focus on one effective option for helping to protect a portion of your life savings from being eaten up by nursing home costs. We'll call this strategy the All in the Family Plan because you can pay adult children for the help that they provide. This works if you carefully follow the rules, but there are lots of pitfalls that could get you in big trouble. Let's start first with some background. In many families, adult children do more and more for aging parents as they need more help. In some cases, the help might just be providing a ride to the doctor or simple house cleaning. In others, the help might be much more: dressing, bathing, cooking. Most of the time, the kids help out because they're loving children with no expectation or desire for compensation. But sometimes it makes sense to pay the kids for their services. As we've spoken before, Medicaid will not pay nursing homes, or Medicaid will only pay for nursing homes if you have a little money or property. Many people consider giving away a portion of their savings to protect it. But gifting triggers Medicaid penalties. If you pay children for their services, keeping it all on the family, you can reduce your estate, getting you closer to your Medicaid eligibility, and still protect it with no penalty, no Medicaid waiting period, and no gift tax. Here's what you need to do. You should create a written services agreement between you and your adult child. For this to work, this agreement should meet 3 requirements. First, it should be written up before the services are provided, not after the fact. Second, it should contain as much detail as possible as to the services which will be provided. Third, the payment should be reasonable for the services. You can't pay your son $10,000 to drive you to the doctor and expect that to be considered a payment rather than a gift. The best way to determine a reasonable payment is to get a third-party written estimate for what an unrelated person would charge for the same services in your area. Then pay your child just under that amount. This is a better alternative to just making gifts to your children. For example, if you make a gift of $10,000 to your child, you create about a 2-month penalty period for Medicaid, which will not start until you run out of your savings. In other words, your child would likely have to pay the gift to the nursing home. But if you pay your child $10,000 for services and you use a valid services agreement, there should not be any Medicaid penalty. If your adult children are helping you, maybe you should think about paying them under a written services agreement. After all, wouldn't you prefer having your hard-earned money staying in the family while also protecting a part of your life savings from nursing home costs? If you have questions, use the information that's coming up next.
Call Budish, Solomon, Steiner, and Peck at 1-888-236-5173 for more information or to schedule a speaker for your organization. Or log on to www.budishandsolomon.com.
Thanks for joining us. Next week, we've got our fingers on the pulse of heart disease in seniors. We'll look at ways to ensure you can leave a legacy. We'll find out how you can test drive your new hearing aid. Plus, we'll put you in touch with outpatient therapy. And we'll reveal how to find those extra resources that can keep your loved one at home. Until then, please remember to make the most of your golden opportunities.